From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a Medford man is in critical condition after being hit by a passing vehicle on I-95 while assisting a fellow motorist. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, 8 candidates vying to be Maine's next governor faced off in a debate last night. We'll bring you that story coming up as well. And Bangor officials voted down a proposal that would ask voters to approve a bond for a new Parks and Rec facility. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. The weather looks like it'll be a partly cloudy day today with temperatures reaching the 40s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that is up through 5 o'clock today, as we do have some active surf up along the coast at this moment in time. As we do move forward, some returns up as we are watching a little bit of snow passing through in some spots. You can see that return along the radar. We'll have a few flurries farther off towards the north, but we will be dry as we do move forward today. As we do zoom things out, you can see some of the returns along the radar tracking off towards the south and east, but overall this will fizzle out and we will be okay as we do move forward today. Notice Futurecast not quite picking up on the activity, so again, that tells you we will be okay. What we saw earlier on the radar, again, we'll be out of here quickly and we'll see a lot of sunshine today. Some clouds late in the afternoon. Later on tonight, some rain and snow chances on the way. Transitioning to all rain throughout the day on Thursday as we do welcome in some warmer temperatures. As for gusty winds reaching up to about 30 miles per hour today, backing off later on tonight. Hourly forecast moving forward. Lots of sunshine today. Temperatures reaching for the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, June primaries are creeping closer with multiple candidates chasing Maine's gubernatorial seat. A debate last night let Republican hopefuls make their voices heard on a variety of issues. Our Callie Warren takes us there.
I believe that I am the candidate of choice and that I absolutely can win this primary and that we as a Republican Party can win the general election.
I'm going to be reporting to you. I've never run as a clean elections candidate, always a traditional candidate as a legislator, and I've been a senator 4 times and I've been a representative twice. One of the things I've focused on in my entire career that's made me really one of the most successful operators in the industry that I work in is my ability to work with people.
You know, I'm a guy that started from scratch. I'm the guy that, you know, when I got out of high school, started my own company. But I am a true conservative. I am the only Trump guy in the race.
Look up Owen online and what it means warrior. And while I might seem nice and I might seem kind, I have fought for everything that I've ever gotten.
I never expected to run for governor, never thought of it. And at the end of the day, I looked around and I thought, oh my God, the state I came back to is not the state that I left. And I realized I've got the tools. I've managed billions of dollars. I have been a crime fighter all my life.
So the fact that I'm a convert on the policies that have made Donald Trump effective and still have chosen other Republicans in other primaries over the years, I think it's the perfect combination to win this general election.
So when you're elected governor, the person that you're lobbying for is for the state of Maine, and I've always taken that responsibility very seriously. I've always advocated for the Maine taxpayer, and I'll continue to do that as governor.
Those are the 8 candidates running to be the Republican pick for Maine governor. They faced off in a Tuesday night debate hosted by the Maine Wire, a division of the Maine Policy Institute.
90 seconds to respond.
Questions ranging from,
how would you change state education policy to improve student outcomes?
To,
and what will you do to make state government more transparent?
Represent what organizers say is on the forefront of a lot of Mainers' minds before the ballot boxes open.
I think like you've seen in recent elections, a lot of them are going to be the tabletop issues that people live with, you know, the economy and how people feel about prices, inflation, energy costs, healthcare costs, you know, jobs in the economy. It's basically what's on everybody's mind right now.
Hundreds of voters turned out to observe the debate, with thousands watching live online. Hearing directly from candidates to put a face to the name before the June primaries whittle down these 8 options.
Maine Policy Institute cannot and will not endorse a candidate, so this entire debate is really focused on giving the voters an opportunity to learn more about the people that are seeking to be their next governor.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, a Medford man is in critical condition after being hit by a passing vehicle on I-95 while assisting a fellow motorist. According to Maine State Police, Monday night around 7 o'clock, troopers responded to a crash near mile marker 189 on I-95 north in VZ. They say their initial investigation indicates that an 18-year-old motorist had lost control in the snowy conditions and stopped on the median. She had exited her vehicle and was standing by the guardrail when a 54-year-old Medford man stopped to help and was standing with her behind that guardrail. Maine State Police say they were both struck by a passing vehicle operated by a 19-year-old female from Old Town who had also lost control in those snowy conditions. Both were thrown down the embankment behind the guardrail. The female sustained minor injuries, but the man was seriously hurt and remains in critical condition. Police say preliminary information suggests that the man may have attempted to shield the young driver at the time that they were struck, and that investigation is still ongoing. Meanwhile, 2 people were displaced after a fire tore through a house on Wiswell Road in Brewer on Monday night. Just before 8:30, first responders were dispatched to the scene. Officials say when they arrived, they found the single-family home fully involved. The fire was quickly upgraded to a second alarm, triggering mutual aid from neighboring departments. Officials say residents were not home at the time and no one on scene was injured. Brewer fire officials say the age of the home and the weather conditions were challenges.
The biggest challenge for us was getting there. We didn't experience any major delays, but it just started snowing. The roads were extremely icy. That did slow some, especially our mutual aid responses.
Crews remained on scene until around 4 o'clock. The State Fire Marshal's office is still investigating, and there is no word yet on a cause. Well, looking briefly to our south, the Maine Warden Service is looking for the person or persons who rode a snowmobile through Dayton Tree Nursery, doing tens of thousands of dollars in damage. The Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife says at some point between Thursday, February 26th and Saturday, February 28th, someone took a snowmobile and rode through a roped-off area at Pearson's Nursery in Dayton, running over and damaging numerous small trees and saplings, causing an estimated $21,000 worth of damage. A total reward of $2,000 is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the person responsible. Anyone with information is asked to call Maine Warden Service Dispatch or contact Maine Operation Game Thief at 1-800-ALERT-US. You can also go to their website at maineogt.org. Well, a measure designed to increase electricity affordability and utility accountability is now a law. Governor Janet Mills signed LD 1949, an act regarding energy fairness. It makes 2 important changes to the Public Utilities Commission's rules. The first will require the PUC to consider affordability for customers as a central concern in their rate-making process and establish an affordability metric. The PUC will also be required to make widely available and accessible to the public credit and collections data from Central Maine Power and Versant, including customer disconnections and much more. Maine Conservation Voters Legislative Director Sarah Woodbury says, quote, "This bill puts the concerns and budgets of Maine households in the center of the conversation for regulators when it comes to deciding our electricity rates," end quote. An effort is underway to help a Maine State Trooper and his family who lost everything in a fire. It happened in the Bangor area on March 19th. Corporal Greg Ramp, his wife Natasha, their 2 children, and all of their pets, including his canine partner Murph, made it out safely. However, they are starting over with nothing. Greg had served with the Maine State Police since 2019, and he has been a canine handler since 2022. The Trooper Black Foundation is a registered 501c3, and it is collecting donations. And 100% of those donations through April 19th will go directly to the Ramp family. You can donate online at trooperblackfoundation.org. Residents of Southwest Harbor went to the polls on Tuesday to vote on whether to fund 2 infrastructure projects in the town, overhauling their public works garage and a shoreline rehabilitation project to repair storm damage back from 2024. Voters were asked if they wanted to approve $618,000 in funding from the town for the garage. Voters were also asked to approve $197,000 to repair the storm projects. The rest of the price tag would come from a congressionally directed spending grant. Registered voters overwhelmingly in favor of both projects. Voters said yes, 204 to 51 in favor of the Public Works Garage project, and 210 to 46 in favor of the storm damage repair project there. And in other news, a multi-million-dollar project aimed at replacing 2 aging facilities in Bangor has hit yet another roadblock. Last night, city councilors said no to putting the question to voters, at least for now. Our Alex Schley has more on why officials say they don't support the current proposal, but they do support the project.
During Monday night's city council meeting, Bangor officials once again voted down a proposal to put a referendum question on the upcoming election ballot that would ask voters to approve a bond to fund a new Parks and Rec facility.
My no vote isn't a vote to kill the project, it's a vote to let's explore how to get this done without 100% paid for by bonds.
The proposed $75 million project would replace the current rec center and Sawyer Arena, putting both facilities under one roof. It would also house the Parks Department and School Department's maintenance division, as well as the city's public health and community service departments.
Sawyer Arena is on borrowed time. The Park and Rec Center is an old armory, not designed for what we're using it for, never has been.
Well, council members agree both facilities need to be replaced. Many say they do not want the full cost to fall on taxpayers.
So instead of, hey, city, you take on all of the taxpayer responsibility, we become part of a funding stack of, hey, can you help us with the last $3 million or $2 million and get us across the finish line?
Officials say while it's still unclear how the project will be funded, they are working to move it forward.
For my part, it's really going to be pressing upon giving the staff the instruction to go out and help form these partnerships with the community. There's a lot of excitement out there to get this built. Let's capitalize on that and get this built without having to put 100% of the burden on taxpayers.
While the referendum will not appear on June's ballot, officials say it could still go before voters in November. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, an 8th grader from Machias is heading to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. We'll meet him coming up. But first, let's take another look at our forecast. For today, mostly sunny and windy with temperatures in the low 40s. Overnight tonight, a chance of rain and snow showers. Temperatures right around 27. And for tomorrow, rain and snow, highs around 52. We'll be right back.
When the unexpected happens.
Really?
We'll get you running again. Uninterrupted. Together, we're United. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Unwind with a massage. Let me take away the stress of everyday life and allow you to fully relax. I offer Swedish, deep tissue, and prenatal massage. Healing Strength Massage in Bangor is your place for relaxing therapeutic massage.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Is your Maine issued license or ID expiring soon? Good news. You may be able to skip the trip to the BMV and renew it online, including if your license or state ID is Real ID compliant. Visit maine.gov/SOS/BMV today to find out if you're eligible to renew online. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
60 employers gathered in Augusta yesterday for a workforce event. The University of Maine at Augusta held its 4th annual Job and Resource Fair. Organizers say it's a regional response to the workforce challenges currently facing Central Maine. Employers at the event came from a wide range of occupations, including healthcare, law enforcement, and construction.
The majority of our employers here today are from the mental health field, but there's a hiring need across the whole board. So it's a great opportunity for people to get the word out, for employers to get the word out, and for the community and our students and alumni to learn what's out there.
Brown says this was the largest job and resource fair in the event's 4-year history. Well, usually construction companies compete against each other to get jobs, but that's not always the case. They are joining forces with Kennebec Valley Community College to tackle Maine's shortfall of skilled heavy equipment operators. Industry, workforce, and education leaders are putting participants through their pace in a 6-week training program that teaches them everything that they need to know, from safety to moving equipment and putting piping in the ground.
It's hard to take them out and plug in somebody who has that interest, because you lose all that efficiency when you do that. And so here we don't have those constraints. We're able to provide a good training for, they're able to make boo-boos. They're able to kind of learn from mistakes they make here.
Officials say students in the class are mostly workers with some experience who are looking to advance in their job to better paying positions at the same employer. Meanwhile, an 8th grader from Machias will head to the National Scripps Spelling Bee after winning the state championship this past weekend. 13-year-old Tristan Singh is a student at Rose M. Gaffney Elementary School in Machias. He won the Maine State Spelling Bee this past Saturday at Bowdoin College after lasting long enough to be one of the final 2 contestants and then correctly spelling the word stratosphere to clinch the title. Tristan has been competing in other academic areas, including history, geography, and science, since he was in 5th grade. When we asked him about his competing, you could see the grin on his face, and he says he is very much looking forward to competing at nationals.
Wing is really cool, and I'm really excited to see how good of a speller I am compared to all of those other winners.
Tristan will celebrate his 14th birthday just a couple weeks before that national competition in May. We wish him a happy birthday in advance and best of luck at the Nationals. Well, the time now is 6:17. After the break, lawyers and tech giants appeared in court over the influence AI has on modern warfare. More on that to come. Plus, students and staff at Old Town High School are still having fun in between sports seasons. We'll take you to their intramural games as Good Morning Maine continues.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister, your buddy, the ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month, just announced. Get $8,360 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
You provide it all. There's no challenge you can't take on, because you've already taken on everything. You've gone above and beyond. It feels like you've brought them together. It feels like your home is taken care of. It feels like you're all at the top of your game. And with Fidium Fiber Internet, you are.
It feels like Fidium.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
athletes, March can often be an unpredictable month while they wait for the spring sports season to begin. But as our Jody Hersey found out, students, educators, and staff at Old Town High School have found a way to fill the time thanks to co-ed intramurals.
On the hardwood at Old Town High School, students have traded in basketballs for volleyballs.
It really is just a way for kids to do something, stay active between winter and spring seasons.
Co-ed intramural volleyball is an annual event at the school every March. This year there were so many students interested in playing, PE teacher Lucas Grinnell was able to field 12 teams.
I have senior captains that draft their teams. So we have a big list of kids that they go through and they take a lunch and we draft their teams. So they pick them all and they get them together.
Senior Taylor Madden has played all 4 years, teaming up with students from other grades.
It's just fun to be able to connect with different grades, and we always just have so much fun. It's never even about the score, it's just about having fun with your friends.
Michael Carroll's team is so invested, they even had their own team t-shirts made.
And this year we figured out that we probably need a team name because nobody else had a team name last year. We did, we won, so we figured might as well carry that energy over.
All the students involved admit they're looking to knock off the top team in the competition, which is made up of staff and administrators from Old Town High School.
It gets teachers interacting with kids in a different setting, other than the classroom. They're here in the gym, they're having fun. So not to brag, but they're atop the leaderboard right now.
Volleying for points, for fun, and for bragging rights.
Everyone wants to play, everyone just wants to be included, and everyone does, so it's perfect.
In Old Town, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Looks like a lot of fun. Well, the time now is 6:22. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. A small craft advisory is up through today at around 5 p.m. along the coast. Still dealing with a little bit of active surf along the coast at this moment in time, and we're seeing that with wave heights at around 4 feet and some higher surf further off towards the north and east. And notice 3 to 7 foot wave heights being observed farther off towards the east according to the buoys. So again, the ocean's still a little bit active with some energy tracking off towards the east. And you can see a little bit of energy tracking off towards the east this morning. It brought a little bit of snow to a few spots. But again, with that now out of here, we'll see a lot of sunshine today. You can see a little bit of energy to the north and west too. That could bring a few flurries to the northern parts of the state, but overall for us, we'll see a lot of sunshine today. Some clouds moving in later on this afternoon, but otherwise for us, lots of sunshine today. So sunglasses will be our friend as we do move forward in time. So futurecast moving forward, lots of sunshine today. There's those clouds later this afternoon to the evening time frame. Rain and snow chances overnight, transitioning over to all rain with rising temperatures. Notice this all gets out of here as we head towards Thursday evening, and even the clouds, they still maintain, but overall by your Friday, we're looking pretty good. As for the snow, we're going to be seeing about 1.5 inches or so further off towards the north, but overall for the rain opportunities, again, about 1/4 inch before we're all finished up. Again, the snow primarily to the north, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, but as for the rain, everybody gets involved with about 1/4 inch. So overall for today, again, lower 40s, mostly sunny and windy, and that west wind at about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, again, lower or upper 20s, excuse me, some rain and snow showers, and that southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, here we go, rain and snow switching over to all rain with lower 50s for the high, and that southeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Again, 1 inch to 1.5 inches half possible in the northern parts of the state. Lesser totals further down toward the south, if any. Whatever falls, of course, melting with those rising temperatures. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials, showing a partly cloudy sky Friday. Highs in the low 40s with upper 20s for your Saturday. Mostly sunny, mostly cloudy Sunday with highs in the low 40s.
What will happen next on Paradise? Everyone wants to know. And this week, the stars of Paradise are here live on GMA. What will they reveal? Plus, this morning, it's the one and only Vince Vaughn.
That's awesome.
Only on
Good Morning America.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Give your home or business a clean slate. From roofs to carpets, siding to storefronts, we clean it all, inside and out. Locally owned, fully insured, and committed to quality. No job too big or small. Message us on Facebook at Clean Slate Services 207 or call 207-631-0500 for a free estimate. Clean Slate Services. Your property renewed.
She would play blackjack and lose a lot.
How much would you say you received to continue gambling?
Hot Bench. Wednesday at 3 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to the latest on the war in Iran. The war rages on with new strikes from Iran on Israel overnight, even as President Trump says we're talking to the Iranians. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
Overnight, more missiles from Iran falling from the night sky over Israel as new details emerge about potential peace talks with Iran.
They're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Sources tell ABC News the Trump administration has sent Iran a 15-point peace plan addressing Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear programs and maritime routes like the Strait of Hormuz. But the president not saying which Iranian leaders the U.S. is talking to.
We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems.
Iran still insists there are no negotiations underway with the United States. Mediators are said to be pushing for a meeting soon, but the Wall Street Journal reports Iran has its own demands, including no limits on its missile program and the closure of all American bases in the Gulf. A U.S. official calling those demands unrealistic. But even amid talk of diplomacy, the Pentagon is preparing to deploy up to 1,500 troops from the elite 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East to support the war. The president has said he does not plan to put boots on the ground, but the soldiers of the 82nd are trained to parachute behind enemy lines. Their deployment on top of 4,500 Marines and sailors expected to arrive in the region this week.
If you're looking at the airborne, the 82nd Airborne, well, it's just that, right? They could actually parachute in directly onto Karg, and then from that they could secure some of these areas, and then the Marines would still be able to use whether it's their Ospreys or some of these other to be able to do some type of vertical attack.
And a new Reuters Ipsos poll shows only 35% of Americans approve of the U.S. military strikes against Iran, while more than 60% disapprove. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Now to the debate over the dangers of AI at the Pentagon. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
Lawyers from the Defense Department and the AI company Anthropic appeared in court in a high-stakes battle over the influence of artificial intelligence in modern warfare. Anthropic is challenging the Pentagon's highly unusual decision to designate the company as a supply chain risk.
The judge in this hearing went as far as to compare it to corporate murder.
President Trump recently ordered government agencies to stop using Anthropic after the company refused to give the government unrestricted use of its AI products. Anthropic saying it does not want its products to be used for mass surveillance or lethal autonomous weapons. That's when Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth labeled the company a supply chain risk, a designation typically reserved for foreign entities.
The DoD basically needs to prove that there's some kind of risk that Anthropic would try to sabotage the military. They attempted to make this argument during the hearing today by basically saying there's a concern that Anthropic might push a software update with a kill switch, basically making it so that the company can intervene if the Pentagon tried to do something it disagreed with.
The judge seemed skeptical of the Pentagon's move, saying she's concerned the government is trying to cripple Anthropic for criticizing the administration. Anthropic's leaders have argued artificial intelligence requires safeguarding from both the government and itself. The judge is expected to rule in the next few days. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Federal investigators are narrowing their focus as they look into the deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport. Authorities now revealing that fire truck was missing key equipment that would have triggered a warning. ABC's Lionel Moyes has the latest.
More delays at New York's LaGuardia Airport after the deadly crash between an Air Canada jet and a fire truck crossing the runway. Investigators say the truck did not have a transponder, key technology that could have prevented the crash.
The fire truck involved did not have a transponder, the electronic beacon that would have shown up in the control tower and would have waved off, told the Air Canada jet to go around.
The NTSB says there were 2 controllers in the tower doing the work of 4, which has become standard during certain hours.
Our air traffic control team has stated this is a problem, that this is a concern for them for years. I can understand it's a concern.
Both Air Canada pilots were killed. The brother of pilot 30-year-old Antoine Forrest saying, "You left in a rush too early to say bye. I love you, my brother. You can now leave with your head held high." The co-pilot, identified as Mackenzie Gunther, graduated from Canada's Seneca Polytechnic in 2023.
The wreckage is still sitting next to runway 4, and that runway is not expected to reopen until Friday. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, speaking of airports and airlines, there's still a race to end the partial government shutdown and pay TSA workers. Some travelers are now arriving up to 7 hours early for their flights, fearing massive security lines at some airports. TSA agents have now gone 40 days without being paid. More are calling out sick or quitting. In Michigan, a veterans nonprofit is switching gears to help TSA workers, providing staples like milk and eggs. And in Florida, a landscaping company is now collecting donations for TSA officers. Senate Republicans have now agreed to fund the TSA and every agency inside Homeland Security except for immigration enforcement. Democrats pitched the plan, suggesting they're willing to fight separately for immigration policy reforms. But any Senate deal could still face an uphill battle in the House. Coming up on the second half of the newscast, a new tool is helping travelers navigate those busy airports. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
That is why I don't ride elevators anymore. Okay, what's with you today?
Well, I got away with something I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Jasmine's gonna finish you off. Jasmine!
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona SE for $139 a month, or get 3.49% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The Button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Winter is flu season, and not only that, but COVID is still with us, as is RSV. Remember, it takes your body about 2 weeks after you get any vaccination to ramp up those antibodies. Now is the time for you and your family to get vaccinated against the flu, COVID, and RSV. Updated vaccines are now available for flu and COVID-19, and depending on your age, active steps you can take to prevent RSV. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist. A message from the Maine CDC, this station, and the Maine Association of Broadcasters.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
A woman who was born at Yale New Haven Hospital back in the 90s eventually worked at that same hospital as a janitor. But now she's hit the big time at that same hospital. Here's ABC's Danny New.
You are watching the moment Shay Taylor Allen's life kind of came full circle.
As you can see from the video, I was jumping up and down to the point I think the concrete was going to break.
This was on match day last Friday when Shay learned she was accepted into the Yale School of Medicine. This means she will be a resident at Yale New Haven Hospital, the very hospital where she, 1, was born, but 2, where she worked as a janitor.
I could have never imagined that I'll be going back to the same hospital I was born, not only born at, but a janitor at, to be a doctor for my community.
Born and raised by a single mother in New Haven, Shay started working at the hospital just after high school graduation. A few years later, though, her mother, Shima, became mysteriously ill, and Shay turned to the hospital's then CEO for help finding a diagnosis.
I was just a janitor at the time, and she still made sure that my mom was okay. So I seen firsthand how advocacy worked. And I knew I wanted to do that one day.
From there, Shay soon realized she wanted to become a doctor, and her medical journey away from and back to home began. Eventually, Shay earned her way to the Howard University College of Medicine, where she will graduate from in May. And that's where Shay was in this video on Friday, opening a letter from Yale while standing next to her husband before being hugged by her mother.
It has come and gone so fast that I'm still like, this is so surreal. My sister still works there as a janitor, so I get to see her.
In fact, Shay says many of her former colleagues are still working at the hospital, but she's not just excited to see them when she walks through those doors this June.
Every single person in New Haven, Connecticut right now is my family. Everybody that walks into that hospital because I was born there, and I'm so excited to serve them.
So Shay will be joining Yale's Department of Anesthesiology, and in a statement the department chair told ABC News they are, quote, thrilled to welcome her. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that is up through 5 o'clock today, as we do have some active surf up along the coast at this moment in time. As we do move forward, some returns up as we are watching a little bit of snow passing through in some spots. You can see that return along the radar. We'll have a few flurries farther off towards the north, but we will be dry as we do move forward today. As we do zoom things out, you can see some of the returns along the radar tracking off towards the south and east, but overall this will fizzle out and we will be okay as we do move forward today. Notice Futurecast not quite picking up on the activity, so again, that tells you we will be okay. What we saw earlier on the radar, again, will be out of here quickly, and we'll see a lot of sunshine today. Some clouds late in the afternoon. Later on tonight, some rain and snow chances on the way. Transitioning to all rain throughout the day on Thursday as we do welcome in some warmer temperatures. As for gusty winds reaching up to about 30 miles per hour today, backing off later on tonight. Hourly forecast moving forward. Lots of sunshine today. Temperatures reaching for the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers central and eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters, turn scrap into cash.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. We'll start by checking in with the Husson softball team, who are on a tear to open their 2026 season. The Eagles hold an unprecedented 13-1 record through their first 14 games thus far and are nationally ranked 22nd in the country. The team says the work they've put in during the offseason, as well as the trust in each other in every game and practice, has helped to get them to this point, but they're treating their national ranking as nothing more than a visual.
I feel like the team as a whole has really good camaraderie, and a lot of our coaches have been able to build off of what we've needed to work on.
Being nationally ranked doesn't win you games, so we have to play hard. It actually puts a bigger target on their backs, so they're going to have to do even better than they did before.
After playing some games down south, the Eagles are just a few short weeks away from playing in-conference opponents, and they're confident that their early success will continue to carry them forward through North Atlantic Conference play and the rest of the season, as long as they continue to play their game.
I think just seeing what we did in Florida is a good confidence boost to what we're going to do in the NAC, but we still take it game by game and just prepare for the next opponent.
Yeah, we take one game at a time, and we take nothing for granted. We don't look too far in advance to our games. We take the very next opponent, and that's our game.
We'll hit the sheet now, where the Maine men's hockey team, despite falling short of their ultimate goal this season, has just received good news regarding their roster next season, as goaltender Alvin Boy is set to return for his senior year. In his standout 2024 season, Boy allowed just 1.82 goals per game, which ranks second all-time in program history. He also made 27 total saves in the Black Bears Hockey East Championship game win, which earned him the William Flynn Most Valuable Player Award, a place on the All-Tournament team, and a nod to be a second-team All-American. After receiving several pro offers, he decided to return to Maine in 2025, where he faced some adversity after an up-and-down season, splitting time in net with freshman Mathis Rousseau. Following Maine's loss to Boston College in this year's Hockey East tournament, Boya has once again decided to return. Heading to Florida now, where the Red Sox played their last spring training game before shipping off to Cincinnati to play the Reds to open the season on Thursday afternoon. The Sox fell to the Twins 15-6 to close out the preseason. Newly signed starting pitcher Ranger Suarez got rocked, allowing 8 earned runs over 4 1/3 innings. Not exactly the feel-good outing you're looking for heading into opening day. Trevor Story's bat stayed hot, though. He went 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. He completed Grapefruit League play with a batting average above 4. The silver lining in this blowout was 4 Mainers to his Twins pitcher and former Black Bear Cody Lawyerson made an appearance. He pitched an inning, striking out a batter and giving up a single hit as the Moscow, Maine native has clinched a spot on the Twins' opening day roster. Congrats to Lawyerson. Heading down to TD Garden now, where big news dropped on Monday night as the Bruins announced they'd have signed their 2025 first-round pick and Boston College standout James Hagans to an amateur tryout contract with the Boston Bruins. An ATO contract basically means Hagans will begin in Providence with the AHL team, get some reps down there, and if all goes well, he'll sign an entry-level contract and help the Bruins with a playoff push down the stretch without burning a year off his contract immediately. Hagans, who's 19 years old, had 34 goals in 2 seasons with the Boston College Eagles, including 23 this past year. The move comes 3 to 4 days after the Eagles fell in the hockey semifinals. The top prospect was in Providence today for his first practice. Here's what he had to say about the move and how he can make a case to help out the Bruins down the stretch.
I love it. There's a saying, nothing's given, everything's earned. So it's just knowing that you have to earn a spot wherever you go. So it's going out there, it's working your hardest, it's trying to show everything you worked for. Hopefully it pays off.
Now let's head over to TD Garden, where the Bruins played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs on Tuesday night. We pick it up late in the second, tied 1-1. Max Domi shows off the silky mitts in front of the net. He puts the Leafs up 2-1 with a beautiful finish. Heading into the second intermission. In the third now, Leafs get a fortunate bounce off a loose stick. They cycle it all the way around until William Nylander lets one rip. The rebound comes right back to him. He buries it to make it 3-1 Toronto. Bruins looking to get back in at McAvoy. He's going to throw it to the middle. It finds Zacha, who feeds Pasta, and his shot eventually trickles in. Bruins make it 3-2, but their comeback would fall short. They're looking to equalize late in the third, but the puck gets out of the zone. Leafs win the race to it, and they would end up cashing in on the empty net goal to secure a 4-2 win. Tough bounce for the Bruins as they fight for playoff positioning. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Peter Pan here. I thought growing up would be the worst. Bills, responsibility, pants. But then I found a way to hack adulthood. It's called AAA. Grown-up perks, zero grown-up stress. Woo! Insurance and roadside assistance? Hey, yep. Oh! It's cool. I've got AAA. And don't forget, epic discounts on dining and travel. With AAA, it pays to be a member. A little more whipped cream, please? Yeah.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Welcome back, everyone. An AI robot is helping travelers navigate a busy airport at the heart of the Silicon Valley in a new pilot program. Mark Sayre has that story.
Whether you're craving a burger, a quick sandwich, or something more international, you're covered. Just let me know if you're feeling something particular.
I would love to have a burger.
Tess Howe is a regular traveler at San Jose Mineta, so we asked her to test out an AI-powered robot named Jose with a common question.
Got that burger craving? You've got some options here at SJC. You can hit up the Gordon Beer Spot.
In an international area like Silicon Valley, it helps that Jose can speak and respond in 50 different languages.
我可以给你提供机场的方向、旅行小贴士。Pour aller au terminal A depuis le terminal B, hai să vorbim. Cu ce pot să te ajut? But if you're done testing my language skills, I can circle back to English. Lunchtime's creeping up. Let's get those taste buds going. What's the vibe? Oh, so that statue in Terminal B baggage claim is of Norman Mineta. He's a legendary figure in San Jose, and the airport's actually named after him.
Jose was designed and is being tested by a company called Intbot and is considered a socially intelligent AI humanoid robot, which is programmed especially for SJC.
So that Jose can greet travelers, answer questions, and also guide them to travel through the airport.
This is just, again, a pilot program to test out what our future might look like.
Over at the actual human-staffed information booth, volunteer Ken Goudan says he's not worried Jose will take his job, but he is a bit skeptical that more complex tasks can be handled.
Sometimes I have to go find a lost and found. One of the best parts of my job is when, especially people lose their cell phones that have their wallet and everything on the back of it, and you can watch people melt with joy when you return that cell phone.
Tess Howe admits she is an early adopter of technology, but she was impressed by what she saw.
It is nice to have a friend now, a robot friend that can answer my questions.
Hold up, amigo. Grab Starbucks near Terminal 2. Java Jet Fuel.
Perfect. I love Starbucks. Thank you.
Now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. A small craft advisory is up through today at around 5 p.m. along the coast. Still dealing with a little bit of active surf along the coast at this moment in time, and we're seeing that with wave heights at around 4 feet and some higher surf further off towards the north and east. And notice 3 to 7 foot wave heights being observed further off towards the east according to the buoys. So again, the ocean's still a little bit active with some energy tracking off towards the east. And you can see a little bit of energy tracking off towards the east this morning. It brought a little bit of snow to a few spots. But again, with that now out of here, we'll see a lot of sunshine today. You can see a little bit of energy to the north and west too. That could bring a few flurries to the northern parts of the state, but overall for us, we'll see a lot of sunshine today. Some clouds moving in later on this afternoon, but otherwise for us, lots of sunshine today. So sunglasses will be our friend as we do move forward in time. So futurecast moving forward, lots of sunshine today. There's those clouds later this afternoon to the evening time frame. Rain and snow chances overnight, transitioning over to all rain with rising temperatures. Notice this all gets out of here as we head towards Thursday evening, and even the clouds, they still maintain, but overall by your Friday, we're looking pretty good. As for the snow, we're going to be seeing about 1.5 inches or so further off towards the north, but overall for the rain opportunities, again, about 1/4 inch before we're all finished up. Again, the snow primarily to the north, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, but as for the rain, everybody gets involved with about 1/4 inch. So overall for today, again, lower 40s, mostly sunny and windy, and that west wind at about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, again, lower or upper 20s, excuse me, some rain and snow showers, and that southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, here we go, rain and snow switching over to all rain with lower 50s for the high, and that southeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Again, 1 inch to 1.5 inches possible in the northern parts of the state. Lesser totals further down toward the south, if any. Whatever falls, of course, melting with those rising temperatures. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials, showing a partly cloudy sky Friday. Highs in the low 40s with upper 20s for your Saturday. Mostly sunny, mostly cloudy Sunday with highs in the low 40s.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Nice sleep center, Bob. But what's a Bobopedic?
I could tell you, but I'd rather show you.
Oh, Bob's got a feel for your budget.
They deliver right to your door.
With 30 years of sleep experience, the best warranty, and so much more.
Bob's Bobopedic, from your head down to your feet. It feels like no mattress you felt before.
Wow!
Uh-oh.
Bob's Bobopedic.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Just announced. Get $8,360 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
Only one game show is completely, incredibly, unbelievably average.
Been waiting for this my whole life.
Nate Bargatze hosts The Greatest Average American. Next Jeopardy!
Our champion, Jamie Ding, has earned over $200,000.
He's breaking records, but will a contender break his streak?
Hey, you gotta bet it all.
Next Jeopardy!
Only on ABC 7.
A town in East Texas has a population of only 15. It's called Bug Tussle, but anyone driving by wouldn't necessarily know it. That's because there are no road signs with the name, and the reason being...
People keep stealing them. People just like the name Bug Tussle, and they take the signs. People ask me always on a plane, so where are you from? Are you from Dallas? No, I'm from Bug Tussle. They say, what?
The town was originally named Truss. As for how it got its current name, the people who live there say it was likely the answer to a traveling salesman's question about what the people do there. One man responded that when there's nothing else going on, they watch the bugs tussle. Meanwhile, one mental health clinic is using a therapy goat to help patients alleviate stress. A Mastermind mental health clinic in Colorado Springs, Clover the therapy goat plays a very unique role in managing stress and anxiety. According to the clinic, Clover helps bring comfort and moments of joy for patients, especially those navigating mental health challenges or difficult life circumstances. The clinic also says it aims to combine innovative healthcare services with compassionate, human-centered care and believes Therapy Goat Clover helps achieve that mission.
She's really great with the kids, so we have a playroom. She'll sit and play with them while they're having their appointment because that's really difficult for kids to talk to practitioners about what they're feeling. She'll snuggle with them, and it's kind of like when you have a weighted blanket, when an animal is very calm and they have a good demeanor and you can pet them and they're soft, they can kind of help you just feel calm, chill, make you feel better about yourself.
Many animal-assisted therapy programs have been popping up across the country in recent years, and some medical experts say therapy animals have a positive impact on human well-being. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the farmer's table in Corinna.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the CNR promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with CNR Carpet Cleaning.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage, doing business the right way every day. The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Everyone, today on Good Morning Maine, a Medford man is in critical condition after being hit by a passing vehicle on I-95 while assisting a fellow motorist. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, 8 candidates vying to be Maine's next governor faced off in a debate last night. We'll bring you that story coming up as well. And Bangor officials voted down a proposal that would ask voters to approve a bond for a new Parks and Rec facility. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. The weather looks like it'll be a partly cloudy day with temperatures reaching the 40s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
All right.